Right, so episode 3, we have an inventory that works. It's functional, we can pick up these things. There they are, and we can drop them. So, ugly, but does the job. We're going to be probably breaking quite a lot of what I've already done in this episode. So I decided to go with different inventory screens for different pickup objects, pickup types, so different ones for weapons, ammo, and so forth. To do that, we're going to need to do a few things that we've already done a bit different. There's going to be widget switches involved, enumerators. So there's going to be big chunks of code that we've already done that we can just delete at the end of all this. Hopefully, if it all works. I've done a few tests and I think I know what I'm doing. So, right, we'll get on with it. First thing we need is a thing called an enumerator. I'm going to set up a new folder for enums because I'm probably, in the overall larger project, I'll be using a lot of these. We'll set it to my colour. I believe it's in blueprints enumeration. There we are. And I'm going to call it pickup type. So in here we can add as many as we want, different variables, I suppose. Or it is a variable that contains a list of things, and when you run the code through it, you can do different things based on what is selected. That probably doesn't make much sense. It will make a little bit more sense later. So we'll have weapons. You can put a description for each one in. I'm not going to need to because the name of each pickup type is pretty self-explanatory. Armor. I think the way I'm going to set this up as well, if we decide we want more pages to our inventory, we can just add it and the code will still work and add that automatically if I've got my code right. So we'll see on that though. Ammo. What else do we want? Consumables. Oh, hang on. Mods. Consumables. Crafting. It's probably something I will do later. Notes, stroke, books. And then we'll have a miscellaneous one for anything we haven't thought of. So yeah, that's pretty much all we need to do in here. It doesn't hold any more information than this. It is just a list of different things. All right. Inside, we'll start off inside the third-person blueprint, shall we? No, we won't. We need to do something with that enumeration because our items need that information. So we know what type of item it is, and we're going to add that to the item struct, the pickup struct. So add a variable. I'm going to call it item type, and the variable type will be that enumerator we just created. Pickup type, there we go. Close you, and we need to open the master pickup to compile, and then that will filter down through to all the children then. There we go, needed to compile. Great. And in these, over here, yeah, we have the different types all there. A big list of different types. So we'll set the beach ball as a weapon, and the medium box can be ammo, and the pyramid, crafting maybe. Go for that. Why did it? Why aren't these changing? I don't know. We'll come back to that because that's not technically where we need to be changing these things anyway. So we do need to, I don't know if it's anything to do with this. Now we've added a new item to our struct. We do need to connect these two. That's a little bit of an annoyance. I'm not sure there's any way around it. But every time we add something to the struct, we do need to come in here and connect it. Hopefully this will be the only place where we do a system like this. Otherwise it can get quite annoying finding all the places, all the blueprints that we need to connect up again. Will that change things now? Yeah, that was the problem. Okay. Beach ball's a weapon. Box is ammo. And the pyramid is crafting. So by the end of this, we'll be able to pick these up and they'll be in separate inventory windows that we can scroll between or flip a page to. So yes, these new inventory pages, we need a new widget for it. So user interface, widget blueprint, user widget, call it widget inventory scroll, because it is going to be a scroll box. And inside there we are just going to throw down a scroll box. And for now, that's all that's going to be in there. I'm not sure if we can add a few other things. Might not be necessary. Might just keep it as this. I lie already. We need a variable. And variable is item type, and it's going to be a numerator again. Pickup type. Naming scheme is a bit dodgy here. We've got pickup type there and item type there, but I might go through and amend some of the names, but for functionality it works as long as we're grabbing the right variable each time. So item type, I think that's all we need in there. Yeah, we'll go with that for now. I don't think we need to go back in there. Alright, now we need to mess around with our inventory widget. Probably going to be quite a lot of messing around in here. So all this code where it comes to picking up an item, that's pretty much defunct now. The dropping an item, it's going to remain mostly the same, but removing the child from the inventory scroll, that bit's got to change because these items are going to exist in a different scroll rather than here. So, best place to start, we need to create that widget we just created. We need to create a bunch of them, one for each one of the enumerators that we have. So one for each type. And we're going to do that on there. You are event construct. So as soon as this inventory is created, it's going to run this code, and this code is going to create a widget for each one of our pickup types. So we should be able to find it in here. Pickup type. For each enum pickup type, that is what we want. So for every item we put in that pickup type, it's going to run this. So if there's 7 items, it's going to do this 7 times here. Once it's completed, it's going to do this. So we can start off, we've got to create a widget for each one first. So on construct, create widget, and the widget we're going to create is, I forget what we called it, was inventory scroll. It was inventory scroll, and promote a variable. we want to save them in an array. There's going to be several of them. So we'll inventory scroll array. We'll turn that into an array down here. It's done. So no, we don't want to set it, do we? We want to get that array now. Add. So for every type in every pickup type, it's going to create a widget for it. It's going to put it in there. And it also needs to, right now, if we've got 7 things in there, it's just creating 7 of those widgets and throwing them in there. They're all identical. We don't want them identical. We want to be setting their pickup type or item type, whatever I called it. Set their item type. We want to set it to whichever enumerator this has got to at that time. So they're all going to be set differently. I hope that makes sense. So this will run through, it'll go through weapons first, it will create a widget for it, and it'll put it in there, and then it'll set its item type, the variable that's within that widget, to weapons, and then it'll do armor, create one, put it in there, and set that to armor as well. And then later when it comes to adding items to those inventories, they can look to see what type of item can go in there, look at this variable. Now we've created them, we want to put them somewhere. We have nowhere currently to put them, so go into the designer. I'm going to leave this section here for now. I don't want to mess with it because it works, and if this fails, at least we've got something that works. I'm going to create this inventory by the side of it, and I'm going to clean it all up later. It's going to look a mess for now, but it's going to work, I think. So panel and widget switcher is what we want. We'll fill, we don't fill the whole area, do we? Put it in a size box. Horizontal box, widget switcher in there. Width override. In fact, let's delete that widget switcher a second. I'm going to want a vertical box there, and a horizontal box as well. We'll see why in a second. We'll put that in the vertical box, and then the widget switcher in the vertical box as well. Alright, make you fill, and we're going to have 2 buttons to switch between the widgets, so kind of like a left and a right. To like flick the page left and right, so they can go in the horizontal box. Make them fill. Not going to add any text to them yet. I might get like an arrow or something to put on them to point left or right. Do it that way. So that's the widget switcher, and that's going to hold all the these that we create. Then widget switchers by standard have to be a variable, because you have to have access to it here, otherwise you just simply can't do anything with it. So we're going to get widget switcher. I'm going to add a child, and that child is going to be that widget we've created. And then I think set active widget. Set active widget. And that's going to be the one we've created. So that set active widget at the end, every time it creates one of these at the beginning, it will set it as the active widget. So whatever the last one is will be set as the active widget. I'm not sure if you need this. I just think that if that's not there, when you first open your inventory, you don't have any active widget, any active inventory on there. So I'll put that there anyway. It might not be needed. And I think that's it for creating the different inventory pages and adding them to our inventory and adding them to the array. This array might not be needed. There might be a way to do it with the widget switcher itself. Like in itself, it's kind of an array. It holds multiple widgets, just like this is right now. I just find it quite easy working with arrays. I haven't worked with widget switchers too much. All right, so we need to be able to switch between these now. Again, this being just like an array, it will save them with an associated number as well, starting at 0 for the first one and 1 for the second one, and so on and so forth. So we can switch between them fairly easily. So we'll name these buttons. Well, alter the name. So I'll have that one left, and this one right. There's going to be quite a few buttons on here. It's I think it's about time we started naming them so we know what they're looking at. Let's move all this up there. So if we're going left, we want to be going down in numbers. If we're going right, we want to be going up in numbers. So what we want to do is be setting the active widget, which context sensitive is not going to let us do without the widget switcher. Set active widget. That's the wrong one. We want to set it by index. So to do that, we're going to get the active widget index. And if we're going left, we want to be going down in numbers. So we can subtract 1. Plug that in, and that will reduce the active widget index by 1. So yeah, we'll be going down. So if we're on armor, I think armor's second. If we're on armor, it should go down to weapons. And then here is simply the opposite. We just add 1 there. Plug that in. Target is that. So I'm pretty confident these work in this way. I've used widget switches before, and I think that's pretty sound logic. This, I can't see anything wrong with it. It's a little bit difficult to test until we've got everything done, which is the issue with this. Yeah, we're going to need to rework this. The drop thing, that can stay at the end. And that can all go. And if we have inventory items selected, because that's the thing we're trying to drop when we push this button, we should be able to just remove from parent. There it is. Right. So we don't have to go through the hassle of finding out what parent it is, which one of those pages that it's on. We can just remove it from parent. So that sorts that problem out. This little thing here, I was looking at this earlier, and I don't know why I'm setting the player variable, setting a reference to the player character every single time we pick up an item. It makes no sense at all. So if we go to the third person character, we've got, this is where we create that inventory widget. If we just do this, we can set it once. When it's first created, we set it then, and we don't need to set it every time we pick something up. That's a nonsense way of doing it. Let's just be a reference to self. I think that all makes sense. Does it all compile? That's the question. Yep. Right, so adding items to inventory. This is where the complexities start to happen. So break all these. I'm going to keep all that just for now. We are still going to have to create that, aren't we? So I'll copy and paste that. That's the item button that gets put in the inventory. So yeah, we're still going to have to create that. And in fact, I think we're still going to have to do all of that bit. So when we're told to add an item from the inventory, we create the button for it. Within that button, we set a reference to the inventory itself, and we set the pickup struct, which comes through here, doesn't it? So yeah, that's something we're still going to have to do. That doesn't change. We'll still need all that info. Then if we break this, because we need that information, what item type this is, what item type is the thing we're picking up, and we need to make sure it goes in the correct page that we're creating. To do that, we've got them all saved in here, so we can get our inventory scroll array, and I don't think we've got to compare this with each one of these to find out where it goes. I think yes. So if we do a for loop with a break, so this is pretty much doing the same as this. It's going to search through each one of these, and hopefully we can do an equals on an enumerator. Yes, we can. Beautiful. Right. So we'll connect that up. This is going to search through every one of the inventory pages to find out which page has the same enumerator as the item. I think, yes, we've got to get this item thingy here with the item type. Don't want to cross it over. Let's do that. Does that not match? Must be a numeric type before connecting. What are you on about? Did I use this equal? I think I did, didn't I? And it looks like it should be that equal because that's under the enumerator thing. Yes, that's got to be the one. Yep. And we'll do a branch if this is true. Right, so quick recap of what's going on here. More for my sake than anyone else's. We're getting the shout from the player that we need to add an item to the inventory. It's going to create the button, which is the inventory item. It's going to set a variable within that, just saying what the inventory is. It's going to set the pickup struct, so it's got all the information about the thing we're picking up. We're going to look in that and find out what type of item it is, and we're going to compare it with every one of our inventory pages to find out where it should be placed. And as soon as we found it, this is going to fire true. So if we loop this back around, hopefully I won't get some sort of circular logic here and get a massive crash. But I think this is fine. So if we loop that around, as soon as this fires true, as soon as it's found its match, it will stop doing this for loop. And then we need to do something. We need to add a child to this array element. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, because this array element is the page that we need to add the child to, isn't it? That isn't going to work. Right. I'll explain why after I've fixed it, or as I'm fixing it. So this is the new widget that we created, and there's the scroll box. I was trying to add a child to this widget, but the widget isn't a scroll box, it's a widget that contains a scroll box. So this scroll box needs to be a variable, and then we drag this out and access that to add the child to. So there's a scroll box, and I can't change the name of it. So scrollbox 27 is going to have to do. So yeah, I was trying to add the child to this widget as a whole, rather than specifically the scroll box that's within the widget. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it was sense, because if it's not, I don't know what I'm doing. Right, scrollbox 27. Hopefully we can add child to this. Yes. So yeah, once it's found its match, it's going to stop this loop and then run this execute, which is going to add something to this. It's going to add this, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. It went on for so long and there's so many wires that I almost lost track of what I was trying to achieve. I probably could put it in a variable and then just have it dotted around rather than having these long wires. But I do actually find these long wires useful. You can see where everything's coming from all the time. Right, we've done a lot without testing, but it was a difficult thing to test until we'd got a lot set up. So should we test it and see how bad this is? Well, there's one thing that they're not destroying. There we go. There's that pyramid. Can we drop it? Yes. Beach ball. You might notice I've corrected the spelling on some things as well in between videos. It's not saying medium box anymore. So yeah, that's working. Although these aren't destroying. So let's set that up. Where were they destroying before? This is the drop, isn't it? So we drop things from. So oh no, sorry, it's not drop, it's pick up. That's why it's not destroying, because there it is. There's the destroy actor part. I think we can safely get rid of this code now. This was the old code. This is the new superior one. So after we've added child, we'll destroy actor. And that actor is going to be something we've got saved in the player. So actor being picked up or something, is it? Context. What's it called? Actor to pick up. And I'm pretty sure, because we're saving that actor to pick up as an object reference, once it's destroyed, it empties this variable. But just to make doubly sure, let's set it as well. So setting it without plugging something in there should empty it. Let's go back and try that. Boom, boom, boom. So that is straight. Drop in. Yeah, it's all working. It's one thing I don't like. Let's go back into that. Thinking I might put some sort of text just to help myself for now. How about like a little bit of text there to say which menu we're in, because I don't know which menu Pyramid's in, or medium box or beach ball. So I think a little text box there, just to let us know where we are. Designer. So put it in that vertical box. Center it. I'm going to bind it. What's what to bind it to? So if we get the widget switcher, get active widget. Do we need to cast that? I think we do. Yeah, we'll cast that to inventory scroll. Get item type. And can we plug that? No. Can we convert it to something text? Okay. Should we see what that tells us? 765. Okay, that's not quite what we wanted. It's doing something though. We're on the right track. So I'm wondering if there's, because there's text, there's names. What else can we put it as? So yeah, text, done that one. String. I don't know if any of these are going to do anything. Yeah, that was it. Perfect. I think we need to change the font or color or something to make sure it looks like a heading rather than the same as these. But that worked. So, yeah. Very quick recap then. We are in the wrong page. Quick recap. We've got a couple of buttons set up. These buttons get our active widget and add or take away one from it to switch between them. These widgets are being created when this inventory widget that we're in right now is created. And every time we create one, for every item type we have, it creates a widget, adds it to this array, and the enumerator we have for item types sets the item type variable within these pages. So we have one for each one of them. Then it adds it to the widget switcher, or adds all of them to the widget switcher, and sets one of them active. It's going to be the last one it creates, just so there's something active when we open our inventory. When we add something to the inventory, it creates the inventory button, which is the item. Saves some variables. The pickup struct, we know all about that already. Grabs the item type out of the pickup struct, compares it with everything in our inventory scroll or inventory page array. And as soon as it finds a match, it stops this loop happening, fires this off, and adds a new inventory item as a child to the relevant page. And then that's drop-in, which we've done in the last episode anyway. So yeah, I think that's a wrap for this one. I think that's, I'm quite proud of that code. That worked really well. I dread to think how the next couple of episodes are going to go, because I do want to add stackable items, because we've got a page that's called ammo, and there's no point having one bullet in each section. So there's going to be a couple of new variables on the struct. They'll be like, is it stackable as a boolean, and then an integer to say how many it can stack by. And yeah, I haven't got the slightest idea how to do that, so that'll be a bit of an experience. But okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.